On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Yourself a fucking PPP loan, and now you want my help in paying for your lawyer. Fuck you. Pay for your own lawyer. No, that's not the type of help we need to have. And so we need to separate the difference between, yo, you need real help and that you need the inside information, and maybe I can give you a little bit of finances on top of it once you show that you invested in yourself, because I'm not fucking giving you no money and you over there taking and doing what the fuck you want to do. You out here having a good time and partying, and then now I got to come and front the money for you to get yourself together. No. And I think that we do need to be accountable for the things that we do. We do need to be accountable for the things that we say. And we also have to be seeking out the information and making informed decisions, meaning being proactive before you find yourself in dire straits in the first place. Because I can think of very, very, very few situations where people need help and they couldn't have solved for it prior to getting themselves in that situation in the first. Sometimes you need to let them people learn, because you might be enabling bad behavior.
One of the things I love about the way God made me, right? When I went to Atlanta, and I say this all the time, I lived in Atlanta for 20 years. The people I surrounded myself with, because I think men have ego, right? I think ego prevents us from asking for help, right? But in Atlanta, I saw a lot more collaborative effort. And what I learned in Atlanta, I was able to surround myself with people of like mind when I went to Detroit. And Detroit taught me something completely different in terms of, understanding quote unquote racism. Like, blue collar workers, man, y'all was all getting it out the mud together. It wasn't no, black against white, this, that, third. Like, we all getting it out the mud together. Right. And so when I came to Chicago, I started to I saw the same thing, like people, like collaborative effort. Right. So that's not my experience in terms of being afraid to ask for help from people. But I can't deny that, like with the observable eye, when I was younger in Chicago, yeah, men in particular, I can't account for women. I wouldn't speak to women. And that's why I was asking you, is it gender specific, Tam? Is because I know men are prideful and refuse to ask for help because it makes us look or feel weak.
But the problem with this conversation is that it always comes back to money, and that asking for help goes beyond a financial lifeline.
That's what I was going to say, Anton. That
Go ahead,
I think,
Kayla. Go ahead.
I think that I think the main reason people don't ask for help is, one, they don't know what help they need. They just in a bind and they just like, how do I get out of this? They don't know how to get out of it. And then two, they don't know who to ask. They don't know who the right person is to ask, and they don't know what to ask. They just know that they're in a situation that's uncomfortable and they want to figure a way out of it. And they're not thinking logically and clearly about how to actually maneuver out of the situation, and not just for the moment, but period, so that you don't end up back here. Like a real solution, not a temporary fix for this moment. And I think that, I don't know if that comes with like emotional intelligence, actual intelligence, information. But I mean, obviously we know that we need more information in the Black community. People need to like read. We need, there's a lot of things that do need to occur. But I just think most of the time people don't have any idea what to even do first, of like, period. And then when you get to a higher level, let's talk like corporate America, there's still this, there can only be one of us mentality, where like the token Black person. So I can just say, through corporate America, the people that have had the biggest issues with have been other Black people, not necessarily white people, outside of like some of those racial, situations like that. But like Black people that I thought that I could trust were using me to get to put themselves in position to look better than me, so that they are the Black person that gets to come into the room. Right. So it can be deeper in a lot of different ways. It made me not want to ask for help. I don't know who I can trust around here. And actually, that was a toxic situation. But yeah, that's another thing. There are a lot of different ways. But I think overall, most average Black people don't even know what help they need or where to look for it.
I mean, I know speaking for myself, I don't have a problem asking for help, but my ego is telling me to try to see what I can do first. Like I'm gonna try to do it myself before I reach out to and if I fall on my face, it's a learning experience. Then I'm gonna ask for help. That's just me how I look, how I view things. But just past the monetary part, but I really don't like asking. Like if I need some money, I'm gonna go grind and get it. Like I can't relate to the asking people for money thing just because I don't know they gonna throw it back in my face type of deal. It's just that I'm a man and I gotta stand on my own 2 feet type of deal. I mean, and maybe that's pride, talking to, but just past the monetary part, I have to know that I can do it myself before I, go back to asking for help. So I don't know if that's a part of the whole, not wanting to ask for help thing, but I gotta know that I can succeed without, without the backup.
No, everybody see here, the other side of it is that people don't start asking for help because most issues are self-inflicted. Let's be clear. And that's one of the reasons why people don't feel comfortable going to other people, because they know that at some point they're going to have to be held accountable for why you put yourself in that position in the first place. Most situations, the overwhelming majority of things when people find themselves in a pickle is self-inflicted. A. B, as men, that should be our last option because we need to figure it out for ourselves. We need to suffer. We need to stop being on daddy's titty, daddy Biden's titty, mama's titty, always being a mama boy, always need a bailout. No, figure that shit out. Go in the mud, suffer it up, learn a lesson that come along with it so that you never find yourself in that situation ever again. I think that in very few situations, people actually need help because the solution for what you need is already there. You just ignored it and you never paid attention to it until you find yourself in dire straits, right? It's plenty of financial advice, and I talk about it every fucking morning. I give people the game on how they supposed to get they finances straight. I give them the game on how they supposed to save. No, but you wanted to have a hot girl summer. You wanted to go get some Balenciagas. You know what I'm saying? You went and got yourself a fucking PPP loan. And now you want my help in paying for your lawyer. Fuck you. Pay for your own lawyer. No, that's not the type of help we need to have. And so we need to separate the difference between, you need real help and that you need the inside information, and maybe I can give you a little bit of finances on top of it once you show that you invested in yourself, because I'm not fucking giving you no money and you over there taking and doing what the fuck you want to do. You out here having a good time and partying, and then now I got to come and front the money for you to get yourself together. No. And I think that we do need to be accountable for the things that we do. We do need to be accountable for the things that we say. And we also have to be seeking out the information and making informed decisions, meaning being proactive before you find yourself in dire straits in the first place. Because I can think of very, very, very few situations where people need help and they couldn't have solved for it prior to getting themselves in that situation in the first. Sometimes you need to let them people learn because you might be enabling bad behavior.